Okay.
Monica, for some
Yes,
reason,
ma'am.
when I click that, it doesn't show me that I can, there's no place to check in. Like when I click the code,
Same for me.
there's not anything there.
Okay, so when we set up the session, there was no code added to it, and so it was just left blank. Um, so Tammy's going in right now and adding a code to it, and so she'll put in the chat the code. So the code is PFE.
Okay, now it's popped
So
up.
the code is PFE too. Thank y'all for that. Okay, a little disclaimer. This presentation is not to be used for any legal advice. And so we're going to share out some best practices and things like that. But also know that TA can make some changes or there can be some changes. So um, if you're watching this in next year, things could be changed. Updates could happen. So just a little disclaimer for that for this training. Oh, before I don't know. Okay, so every year we do a theme for Title One. So Tammy, Mercedes, and I, we sit down and we come up with a theme for all the workshops that we're going to be providing for the year. And so this year's theme was more focused on like movies and things like that. But anyway, and so this presentation, I based it off of The Matrix. And so I was kind of a little excited, like, oh, let's do PFE policies Matrix style. We're sticking with the theme. And Tammy and Mercedes were like, we've never seen that movie. We have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, what? You've never seen The Matrix? So, I'm gonna have to do some explaining on some of the activities and scenes on The Matrix. So I don't know if y'all have seen The Matrix or not. Have y'all give me a thumbs up if you've seen The Matrix? Come on. See, they have. Okay, so some of y'all are gonna know what I'm talking about. Okay, so in The Matrix, in the movie, at the very beginning, um, Keanu Reeves, he gets this message from, his computer screen and says, "Follow the white rabbit." So you're gonna go into this whole right, and so my thing to y'all is you're gonna follow the right rabbit, which is me. And so, do you see the little? I has ChatGPT to create me as a Matrix character. And so, anywho, welcome today. So, also in the Matrix, um, they're giving the option of to take like the red pill or the blue pill, and if you take a certain pill, you'll stay normal or you'll stay where you're at, and you won't know any different, right? But if you take the blue pill, um, you'll know the truth. You'll get to find out what's behind the curtain. And so nobody could really tell you what PFE is about. You have to see it for yourself. So which one are you going to take? Are you gonna stay the same, do the same thing that you've always done, or are you going to take the blue pill and learn about all the requirements and things like that? And so, and the updates, the new updates. Which one are you going to do? You can stay where you're at. You have the option to, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, or come and know the secrets and the requirements and stuff. Okay, so while you are here, we're going to go over the LEA and the school policy requirements. We're going to discuss ways you could get parent input into your policies. We're going to talk about different evaluation methods that you can use for your policies. And then I'm going to give you time also so that you can review your own PFE policies and update new ones. Things that we have heard in the past regarding policies are we've always done it this way. We posted online. We just copied last year's and just and parents didn't show up. So that goes back into why you're here as well, because we're going to learn how to dodge all of that. You see Keanu Reeves dodging the bullets, stopping the bullets. That's part of the movie. And I have to say this because Pat and Mercedes never seen this movie. They don't know what we're talking about. These are good scenes of the movie. Who needs a PFE policy? All of us do. So everyone here at Region 15 is receiving Title One Part A funds. And because you are receiving these Title One Part A funds, you are required to have a PFE policy. A question we've always got asked is, does it need to be board approved? That just depends. It depends if that is a local policy. Does your local policy require it to be board approved? But if it doesn't, there is no federal statute that says that has to be board approved. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to ask y'all, and I just need y'all to put it in the chat, or if you don't want to put it in the chat, be thinking it. Be thinking it, which one you're going to pick. Are you going to take the red pill or the blue pill? And I hope, I mean, this isn't about drugs too, because I don't want the ESC to be like, well, she was talking about taking pills. No, remember, this is a movie. This is part of the movie. So are you, the red pill is going to mean a myth, and the blue pill is the requirement. Which one are you picking? Question one. The district and all campuses can use the same PFE policy. Are you picking red or blue? And you can put in the chat red, blue. Look at that. Oh, I like the blue hearts. Oh, oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, blue or red. So I hope, okay, so policy, I mean, you can have the same compact policy. If you're using the template, because I do see some districts that a district might have a template and all the campuses use the same template. But what's inside your policy has to be different because the high school parents have different needs than maybe the elementary campus, right? And so we're going to have um, different meeting events, maybe different workshops. Maybe at the elementary campus, you're going to have like reading STEM night, math STEM nights compared to like the high school that might have college nights and career nights and um, middle school might have the hygiene, whatever. But maybe y'all have the same template. So maybe having the same template and it might look a little bit similar on like the template wise, but making sure what is in it is different. So you can't have the same um, policy for all of your campuses. Question two, is posting the PFE policy on the school website enough? Requirement, myth. Which one are you taking? Are you going to stay the same, stay where you're at? Because maybe, you know, the way you share out your PFE policy, you just post it on the website. Is it enough? Tammy, I'm going to have you look at chat because I can't. The other thing I'd like to share with this question is um, it is a requirement to have your, to distribute out your PFE policy. And I know many of y'all share it out on your website, but it's not enough. Because do all parents know how to go to the website? will they do they know where your website is at? Do they have internet to go um, look at the website? As a parent, I usually don't go to my children's school website to go get information. I usually go to social media to find whatever I need to find, or like I go to their Facebook. So I like scrolling. I can scroll to find information, but clicking, I don't really do the clicking. So you, even as a parent, do you go to your child's website to go get information, or do you, you know, get do other stuff? Like, do you think, oh, as a parent, I want the flyer, or I go to their social media, or I want a telephone call, or whatever it is, that you as a parent. So we need to have more than one way that we're sharing out the PFE policy to parents. Question 3. If parents don't attend meetings, you can write the PFE policy without them. You know, are you going to stay what you are doing, or are you going to take the requirement one? If you take the requirement one, because you need parent input. You need to have them help you develop your policy. So hope you're taking the blue pill and going off and doing a requirement, right? Question 4. Yeah, Christy, Sunday survey. Is this goes to um the question number 3?
Yes. I mean, like, because we East has a lot of trouble getting parent involvement like this, So I mean, you might have one, maybe. So
No, yes, and this is why I put this on the question because in the past, TA had given flexibility of like, oh, if they tried, um, I mean, you're trying, you sent out the flyer and you call parents to go to your PFE meetings to review your policy, but nobody shows up. Nobody's showing up. Well, now it's like, okay, well, now they're not going with that. So if you need to send out a survey to get that feedback from parents of the policy, yes, please do that. So you can use a survey for that. But we all you cannot write your PFE policy without parent feedback anymore. So we can't just say, we tried, but nobody shows up. No, you need that feedback. Okay, question 4. The PFE policy must be reviewed every year. We continue doing that if you're doing that. Do you want to know? You can put in the chat or think it. And remember, you can also, if you have something that you want to share out, feel free to unmute and you can ask away. So you can continue to do it every year. I mean, that's a must, that's a requirement. But we do suggest, and we'll share with you here at this latest during this workshop, you could get it throughout the year. So not just, I think a lot of the times districts just wait once a year to send out a survey to review it, the PFE policy once a year. But if something happens, and this came up with COVID, you know, what we had at the beginning of the year for parents and families, once COVID hit, it completely changed the middle of the year. And so you don't have to just review it once a year. You could review it more than once. Question 5. You can copy last year's PFE policy, just update the year. Is a myth or requirement? Are you going to continue to do it? Or if you are doing this, or are you going to take the blue pill and follow the white rabbit? So this, and I've shared this before, there was a district that asked TEA when we went to this PFE training together, that their PFE policy looked the same as the previous year, but that parents had said that they didn't want any changes to it. And that was the reason. So if that is the case, if you sat down with your parents and you got feedback and y'all reviewed last year's policy and y'all decided as a group of, we kind of want to keep it the same for next year, making sure that you have that in your meeting notes, that you reviewed it and your parents um, input and feedback was to keep it the same. They want to keep it the same for next year. And so having that on your notes. Question 6. If it isn't documented, it still counts. It, if it's not documented, it didn't happen, guys. So if you need to have, and we'll go over the documentation needed, and this goes to all your PFE meetings with parents, your events with parents, just all the documentation that you need to have to make sure that it did happen. Okay, questions on all the myths and requirements that we just had on the red and blue pill. Because now that you're going, so like in the movie, once you take the blue pill, now we're going to go and we're going to find out the truth, right? So we're about to find out the truth to everything. But before that, before finding out the truth, there's no going back. So once you take the blue pill, there's no going back. So I'm going to assume everybody took the blue pill. Nobody took the red pill. Nobody's going to stay where they're at. If you're here, you took the blue pill. Now we're going to discuss the LEA PFE policy and all the requirements. So if you're at a district level, these are your and that's the other thing too, when we talked about it earlier, you have to have your district policy, and then all your campuses have their own policies. And you can't have one policy represent everybody, all your campuses and your district and your, so you have to have your district, and then all your campuses have their own policy as well. But here is the district policy and what needs to be in your district policy. Again, if you receive the funding with parents, you have to come together and talk about your PFE program, the activities that you're going to have within your district with parents and families, and then the procedures. And that involves parents and family members. And the reason family members, it could be the aunt, because aunts can be guardians, or the uncle, or maybe siblings. You have older siblings that are also the guardians of the younger the brothers and sisters. And so parents and family members, or maybe grandma and grandpa as well. Because we do have in our region, and I'll share this out again, and I think I've shared this out, I feel like every year. In our region, we see that a lot. We have grandparents raising their grandchildren. And so bringing grandparents along to help create the policies and events at your district. Making sure that the policy, your PFE policy, is into your DIP. And then we're going to evaluate the policy annually or more if needed. So within your district policy, you're going to have to explain what the Title I program is. And making sure when you explain what it is, you do it in a language and format that parents understand. And so when in your within your policy, so you're not, I hope you're not putting in there a lot of legal jargon that if we were to ask a parent in your campus or at your district, do you know what Title One is? Do you know what they were able to answer what Title One is? Um, establish expectations and objectives for a meaningful PFE. And then also, what we see a lot when I look and review PFE policies, I see districts sometimes put in um, that they're going to involve parents. They put these exact words that I have on the screen onto their policy. So they'll have like, they're going to involve parents in developing a plan. Well, we don't want to know that. We don't want, we know that's part of it. We want to know how, or TA wants to, how you're going to involve parents in developing a plan. Um, and so you could have a section on there of um, parents, we need your support in helping create this activities that we want to have with our parents and families. Contact Miss Tammy Nye at 325, whatever. And she will have her meetings once in the fall, once in the spring, at the high school cafeteria, whatever. Like, how are you involving parents? How are you distributing the policy to parents? And I'll give an example here. I took a snippet of a policy and how they said that they were going to share it out. Um, and then provide any technical assistance and other support necessary to build capacity for schools. And so we've done the training on the building capacity piece, which is one of my favorite things. But I also have something that I share out at the building capacity piece where you could even share out to parents that are going to help you create activities and events for your campus or your district. But anyway, just remember the how. They want to know the how. Um, Other things that need to be in the policy is a translation statement wherein how the policy can be accessed in other languages. And of course, it needs to be in that language. Um, Coordinate and integrate PFE strategies. We're going within your policy and kind of put it in bold. And I don't know if you can see it in bold in the screen, but in the policies, I feel districts always forget this piece, and it's always a finding when TA reviews it. They forget the evaluation piece on your policy. So making sure you have your evaluation piece, like how are you going to evaluate your PFE program? Um, and that needs to be in the policy. And then that it needs to be conducted with parents. How are you getting parents to um, help you update or create your PFE policy? And of course, involve parents in the activities. Questions, comments, concerns on what needs to be in your district policy. Okay, so we talked about how do you distribute your PFE policies. We have seen districts put their policies into the student handbook. Um, they have the parent information meetings. They share it out during their annual Title I meetings, um, social media pages, their school websites. They also send them directly to parents through the mail. There's email. They put a link in the local newspaper to the policies. Um, they hand them out doing student registrations. I've also seen districts when people come in into the office to check their child in or out, they have like a little QR code with the PFE policy on there, so that parents, while they wait, they could click on that QR code or get that QR code and review it on their phone, or they have it there, like instead of magazines, you have the PFE policy. And then for the elementary, it's a requirement to give them out during the parent teacher conferences. So there's a lot of um, distribution during the parent teacher conference. Is there any other way that's not listed here that maybe you do that you want to share out? Okay. Here's an example of one of a school district in our region, their district policy, what they put in there of how they were going to distribute out their PFE policy. So they put on their Rock Spring ISD will review and revise the PFE plan at start of each school year. The PFE plan is provided in English and is posted on the district website and Facebook page. Printed copies of the PFE plan are available upon request at our school and at PTO meetings. Oh, that was one that wasn't on the list of PTO meetings. And will also be available in Spanish. And then they put a picture of, I guess, student of the weeks or I don't on there. And this is a great, I just thought, oh, this is a good way to do it. It doesn't really have legal jargon in there, and it's telling parents this is how we're going to send it out to other parents. And then they also had the pictures of people at their school district, and just really enjoy. I like that. Thoughts, comments, because I felt like it was in a language and format that parents would like. Okay, where can you find samples and templates for the LEA PFE policies? So right now, Region 16 has a policy toolkit. You could go in there and I also put their website on there. It takes you step by step on how to create a PFE policy. And this is a really good toolkit to have when you meet with your parents and you're just sitting down and going over like what needs to be in there as a requirement. And then, you could create it, go off of that, the template that they have. And so the template one that they have within the toolkit, it looks similar to this one. And you would just go in there, you can insert your school year, and then you answer the questions that it has like in that yellow column. So like, what is it? So you can put ESC 15 is committed to our vision but I will say don't copy and paste exactly what's on this template. These are just examples of what it looks like. Then you would create your what is in white, right? Um, and then it has the expectations and objectives. Here's another one that we got from another school district. It has about Lone ISD and it has what it is, what Title I is, what the PFE program is, their expectations, objectives, who they can contact, and then what the events are about to be. So here that you can see where it has create a parent advisory board on which parents will be included. This board will plan, develop, evaluate, and revise support and school improvement plans. It also on there has have a representative of every school annual Title I meeting. The district's going to have a representative at every school PFE event. Um, and then it also has trainings to parents on how to navigate the school system. And it has like the time, the days on there and the training for it. I just thought that those were really good to have. And this also helps to, as parents, like if I knew the events ahead of time at the beginning of the year, because I will say, every year I do go onto my children's website and I look at the calendar. and I look at the days off, um, spring break and the holidays and things. And so it would be really nice to have a place, even as a parent, that would already have the event happening. Like if I needed as a parent, like, oh, I need to go to the star, um, session or whatever. Having that at the beginning of the year would be really nice, and I could go back to it. And then you can see at the bottom, it has that translation piece on it, and it has a number um, that they could call, an email, and all that. So don't forget that. And within the policy as well, I don't know if you've seen this, and I don't know if you have it within your policy. I thought it was a great idea. It has at the end where you could see, please fill out the survey to help us meet your needs for other trainings. And then putting like a link to a Google form, or you can even put a QR code within the document that parents could scan and give input or get feedback. So then they would have it throughout the whole year. Here is another one. In Santa Ana ISD, they included pictures of their school. There's a translation piece to it. It was 4 pages long. Um, it has who they could contact, and then it really had like, you want to join the Mountaineer family, like trying to invite parents to participate because instead of you want to be part of the PFE policy committee member, at that point, parents are like, that sounds complicated. I don't want to do that. Want to join the Mountaineer family. I feel like that's very inviting. So just ideas, suggestions for y'all. Um, and this one, if you're a single campus, I mean, we do have single campuses, you would follow the district policy one. So you could see what they put in theirs to meet the requirements. Can you include the policies in the student handbook that is provided to parents annually? So you can, and we do see this, and we do see that there are districts that put in the PFE policy within the student handbook, but you have to make sure that the most recent version is available, especially online. That was also finding within TAA and districts that had got selected was the online version was from like 1999, right? And so, and if the policy is revised, an addendum must be added and distributed to all parents. There needs to be a section within the handbook that is separate that would have the PFE policy in there. And of course, must meet the translation requirement. What are the compliance documentation that you need for your PFE policy? So you need a current year PFE engage policy. You need to have all your meeting agendas from all the planning and revision meetings that you had with parents. And if you didn't have the meetings with parents, if you have the surveys that were sent out to parents um, to get that feedback for your policy revisions, um, proof of policy distribution, however you distributed out your PFE policy. Um, and remember, it needs to be more than just on your website. um, proof of informing parents about their opportunities to be involved. And again, not just telling people on your PFE policy, oh, we're going to involve parents on this. How did you do this? How are you going to do this? Um, sign-in sheets from all planning revision meetings. Um, and of course, if you use the survey, having them just put their name. So it's not like oh, fill out this survey, anonymous survey. Because sometimes parents you feel like, oh, well, maybe they don't feel comfortable sharing it out with everybody and we want to make it anonymous. Well, then how'd you get their sign-in sheet? How would we prove that who that it's your parent that has children at your school and not Tammy Knight filling out the survey. Um, and parent feedback and input regarding the creation revision of the policy. Question, comments, concern. And Tammy, and these are agents in the movie that follow the people that are finding the truth.
Are they good guys or bad guys?
They're bad guys. But TA is not a bad guy. But they look scary, man. Okay, so these are some of the documentation needed. That's part of the toolkit that Region 16 has. And so you see the sign-in sheet, the name, the role, the contact information, student name, and the grade level that their students in. And here is the agenda. You could use, you know, here talk about Title I, explanation, um, talk about the annual meetings, flexible meetings, the right to families to be involved. And then the minute forms, right? Here's one from a school district, a sample of one that they also provided. We did in 2024, but I really liked how the agenda was set up for the parents and families. Like you welcome them, and I like the brief introductions of each attendee. Like, because this is a chance also to get to know the parents, and for the parents to get to know each other that are there. What is the PFE and what does it look like at your district? And then they review the PFE policy and the compact together. They have a parent family university flyer, and then university flyer means they had like a parent university at their campus. Like for each event that parents attended, they would get credit or points. And at the end, they would have like graduation for the parents that got the points needed. Um, and then they had the meeting scheduled already there, and some other parent event meetings, um, recommendations to leading the next meeting, and then an open discussion. So I just thought that that's a good agenda for the parent meeting that you might have at your district. So thinking about your PFE policy, you can see there's a checklist to the right, everything that's needed. And so when you're looking to revise the policy, because right now you're looking to revise your 25, 26 one, and so it's going to be your 26, 27 policy, because then you want to have that ready before the school starts. And so you're reviewing your policy currently. So what needs to be changed and revised? Um, what kind of training are you going to be providing your district employees on PFE strategies? Um, can I say that because that's a piece that's always missing within the district? Are you providing different trainings for your district employees on how to partner up in with their parents, or we always provide a session on how to handle difficult parents, um, and so or how to work with different generations, because you might have parents that are grandparents and parents who are young parents. Are you providing that training to your staff members working with families? um, and those just are just a little bit that I can think off the top of my head. um, but there's other ones that, how can you add an interpretation statement? Because it's also one that's usually missed. So some best practices that districts can do as well is after each event, have an evaluation for parents to fill out, for your district staff members to fill out, how it can be improved. And I would really suggest this after each event that you have, because people forget by the end of the year. So if you're planning to evaluate everyone, staff and parents, and by the end of the year, people are tired and forgot. what those events were that took place throughout the year. Um, and then involve parents and maybe recruiting other parents, and so that they can maybe help with the events that are happening. And I say that too, and you can do this, and because I have, even in my child's school, because you don't want to be the parent that there's one parent that's in everything and always involved and always there and always, and I said, next year my son's going to be a senior, and I don't want to be the parent stuck helping with the senior baskets for every sport, for every, you know. And so I was talking to the other parents, like, we need to get them, we need to like have a list of the events that are coming up this next year, and then every parent needs to sign up. Like, you get parents, and parents aren't filled, those roles aren't filled. We get the other parents from the other grade. But same concept of, you have your parent events, but, getting other parents to get involved in those events and recruiting them as well. Because you don't want the same mom being there for all the events. And, but anyway, I also feel because I had also gotten from districts, Monica, we'd have these events, but no parents show up. Nobody wants to review the policies. Nobody wants to review the compacts. Um, and so there's a QR code to this document that I had created that will help you with, that you can give to your parents. And it's in a language and format that I feel like it's easy for parents to understand, because when you're inviting parents to be part of this, um, and you could just give it to them beforehand and say, we really need parents to review our policy, and it's going to have the events that we're going to do in the future. Um, but here are some of the questions, like as you're reviewing the policy, um, that you can answer, and then you could bring back to the meeting. And so maybe this will help. Your parents feel a little more secure in attending those meetings and wanting to. Oh no. Okay. So let me see if hold on. Let me refresh this Canva presentation. Because I really wanted to show y'all the other one. Um, Remember, because at the beginning of the year, we want to have all the events and we want to plan for the year. And so this document it has every month, different events that you could do within your district. And I really liked it. Um, I really liked it. And I got this from another district in our region. It was Del Rio, um, would get with all their campuses at the beginning of the year, because they would ask their campuses to provide um, sessions or parent events throughout the year, right? And so they would get together at the beginning of the year to plan this. But I'm like, oh, this is such a great thing to have as well when you're creating this with your parents. And so you could go in there and say, you don't have to do every single one of these things. You can just, these are just ideas that you could sit down with your parents and say, for August, we do meet the teacher, and we can do attendance matters or something like that, for parents. November, we could have something to do with Thanksgiving and healthy foods, or study skills at home. Um, be safe online. What is a shelter? What is it? February, we're going to do dating violence for the high school kids, or making math fun, all pro dad chapters, whatever it is. I just thought this was a great thing that you could print out and share with your parents when you're picking out some events to do. Uh, for the district PFE program monitoring findings, these are just some of the findings in the, I want to say like half of our districts have gotten selected. for their PFE program. And these are some of the findings throughout the last 2 years that have come up. So making sure that you have your sign-in sheets, making sure your links are working, that you have your evaluation piece within your PFE program, your PFE policy, that you submit your compact, you have your compact as well, because sometimes districts have and campuses have their policies, but then they don't have their compact. And then only one parent was involved in providing feedback or the involvement of the PFE policy creation. Also, the district, sometimes at a smaller school districts, you use other events to bring in people, right? And this is where you're going to get the feedback. So like open house is a big thing that parents come to, and so they use open house as part of their well, the parents already going to be there, so we're going to get feedback from it. But all the documentation that they submitted has open house. It's not really for the PFE program or for the policy. And then they submitted like their campus policy instead of the like they had a campus policy, but they didn't have the district policy. Questions, comments, concerns? On your district PFE policy. Okay, so I'm going to have 10 minutes for a break so we'll start back here again at 10. But before you go on your break, if you can click on, if you haven't done this already or not, there is a QR code on the screen that takes you to answer some PFE policy questions. There's like 10 questions on there, and it takes you like 3 minutes to fill out. So if you haven't done it already, this will help us out for a training that we have on PFE policies like the one you're in right now. Get feedback from y'all. So if you please take just a few minutes to do that, but I'll see you back at 10. Oh, yes. Let me pause the recording. Zoom recording. Okay, we are back from our break. Thank you all who filled out the survey while you're on y'all's break. Here's a QR code if you still need it. Before we get started on the campus PFE policies, let me answer a question that was in the chat that said, is there a link / QR code for the questions document to solicit parent feedback, etc.? I have a QR code and a Google link, but it's to a district did it, and they got together and they sent out those questions that they wanted to send out to their parents and families. But there's also in the toolkit, there's questions on there that you could decide that you want to ask and create your own for your own campus or for your own district. What I usually tell people is, what kind of feedback do you want from parents? What are the questions that you want to ask? You know what I mean? So there's a list of questions that I can send to you, Amanda, but then you decide
No,
like,
it's okay, Monica. I don't need it. I didn't, when you put up the QR code there, I missed it. So it's okay. Thank you though.
oh, so which QR code? The QR code for the PFE policy, like that one
So
was,
the most recent QR code you gave us was the yearly planner example, and I was looking for the one prior to that, the one with it's like 2 pages and it had questions, and I didn't catch it in time.
oh, this one.
Yes, that one.
So there's the QR code. Oh, okay. I will send you the link to it as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry for being difficult.
No, no, no. Those are good questions. And thank you for asking those. Okay, so now we go into our campus policies and the requirements for the campuses that you have. So it could be your elementary, your middle school, and your high school. You got to work with your parents again, and it's very similar to the district one, but there are some differences of the requirements and what each campus needs. Within your policy, you will have to share out how you're going to distribute out your policy to parents in a format that they understand in language. You also got to make it available out to the community and update the your policy periodically. So the things that need to be in the policy is information about the PFE program, the funding and possible review by TEA, the information about family activities and meetings at each campus, that what you're doing, especially like your annual Title I meetings and how you're going to offer those meetings at different times and different days. Some districts have even offered those meetings virtually. But even if you offer virtually, you have to maybe all parents have access to a computer. And so having it in person as well. Information on how to be involved in the planning and review and improvement of a PFE policy. Uh, information about your school's curriculum for each campus at the campus that you're at, the academic assessments that y'all have, and how parents could request meetings with teachers, with the principal, how they can contact them to get those meetings. I have seen policies where they even list like the nurse contact information and the counselor because maybe they want help with one of the questions I always get, even here at the ESC from parents across our region, are can you help me find scholarships for my child? And then information about SPED stuff like ADHD and behavioral questions. And so maybe your SPED contact person, your nurse, and so on. You can include your compact within your policy as well. And also making sure that there's a translation statement in your policy. Question about your campus one. So here are, doesn't meet compliance with, for your policy, your campus policy. Do you have a current one currently? Do you have the meeting agendas from the planning and the revision meetings that you had for it? And so this is for your 25-26 school year. So do you have those meeting agendas already at hand with you? The sign-in sheets from all the planning and revisions of those meetings. And if you don't have them for the 25-26 school year, are you planning to get all that documentation? Maybe you're new. This is new to your role, and you're like, that last person, Tammy Knight, didn't have that. Didn't leave it for me. I have no idea where it's at. Do you have it now planned for the following year? Do you have proof of policy distribution? Do you have your parent feedback and input regarding the creation and revision of all of your PFE? Here is a sample, and again, you could get these from the Region 16 toolkit, where you could go in and insert your school year and then answer each one of these from that first column. And you can see on here too, it has like family meetings, how to be involved, become a member guardian engagement committee, filling out the application here, link to a Google form. Attend meetings above and the family training below. If you do not know your child's teacher, Google Voice number or their email, contact the principal. All of this to have in your policy. Here's an example of one. They talk about their funding and the review of it. And this was one single campus district. And so it had elementary and secondary together. And then how you distribute out your policy. We talked about this earlier too. This goes from the district one to maybe at your campus level, you are distributing out your policy during your parent-teacher conference period, the newspaper, and so on. There's a different way on how you distribute it, and a new way. Let me know. Here is one that I really like, and this one's in the toolkit as well. But if you are the person at your district that maybe is in charge of both, maybe you have to create your district policy and then help the campuses create all their policies as well. Here is a document that explains both, like what needs to be in both and how they're different. So I really like this one. And then also, if you're one at your campus that wears this hat that has more than one role, and you also have to do your pre-K family engagement plan. This is a different policy. And so what we've seen other districts do is like, oh yeah, we do have a PFE, parent and family engagement plan. Oh, that's for pre-kinder, for your pre-K program, which looks completely different from the requirements that I just showed here. So these are the requirements for your PFE program under the Title I umbrella, which is completely different from the pre-K one. And I've seen both, that's why. And TEA has also seen both because they've also gotten a lot of the pre-K engagement plans already. So making sure that you know it's not the same one. Oh, here it is again, Amanda, of if you're meeting up with your parents, and here's a document that you could use to help your parents be involved in helping you create and update your PFE policy. And I really like the questions. Like you can just tell parents, can you answer like where can parents go if they have a question? Like what would be the best thing? Who would you recommend as a parent? Do you like talking to the front staff? Do you like talking to the principal, the counselor, whoever? Who would you recommend we put on? Like those are the kind of questions that we're gonna ask you. And I feel parents would feel more like, oh, okay, I can answer those. Questions on the campus policies, which is very similar to the district ones. Okay, so next we'll go over the PFE evaluation section. And this one's, we'll go through it pretty fast too, but remember your PFE program, you have to evaluate your PFE program in your policy. So with parent input. And so it's required that the PFE program and its policy be revised based on the results of your evaluation. So making sure you have that and have those results. And how are you getting it? Is it a survey? Is it a focus group? Is it a meeting? Then after revising the program and its policy, have parents approve, approve the changes and making sure you have that noted in your meeting notes. Within the toolkit, you'll also see here for you that's helping create these policies. So here's a little checklist that you could use as you are revising and updating your PFE policy. And the moment in the evaluation piece, you are in the part of the process where you should be getting all your feedback in right now. So at the moment, you should be getting parent feedback from the policies. Then you should be, after you get this feedback, I would say February, March, April, May, sitting down with your parents, getting your focus group or the parents that are going to be revising, helping you revise and update your policy. And you'll talk about the feedback that you got from the evaluation piece. And so here in the evaluation process, you have the review, plan and update, deliver, compile feedback, analyze data and report, and strategize. And so you'll see here this is the first part of it, and it's getting up your group of parents that are going to review your policy, your program, things like that. Then you'll plan an update. Of course, have your annual Title I meeting. You'll look over like ways to overcome barriers and so on. You're going to do your plan, you're building capacity, right? And then there is the delivery part, holding each of the activities and meetings mentioned throughout the year. You make sure you have the documentation in place. You have the training for your educators. I will say, don't forget, and I say this all the time, every chance that I can get, don't feel like you have to do this alone. Region 16, even we provide free trainings to your staff and your parents. So if there's ever something that you think, oh, Monica, my parents are requesting training on behavioral, they're having issues with how to handle their children at home or whatever, let me know and I will help you with that. I'll help you find experts in those areas to do those trainings for your parents or for your staff. This is the part where we're at right now. So after the end of each of your PFE events, have participants fill out the evaluation. Do you have an evaluation already set up for your event? It could be a Google survey. It could be maybe at the beginning of the year, you had the questions already in place, like 2 or 3 questions, and you printed them out already for the year. And after each event, you hand them out to everyone. So investigate into why other parents did not attend. So that could be with phone calls, emails, or home visits. Like, why aren't parents attending some of your events that you're having? And then after the last PFE event, conduct a final evaluation for the entire PFE program. You have to address the barriers. Okay. Why aren't the parents coming? And you could have been getting this after each of your events as well. The needs of your parents and families and strategies used to support successful PFE interactions, and making sure the evaluation is in a format and language that parents understand. And I always say keep it simple and short for our parents. What are some other ways that you can monitor the success of your PFE program? So we could get, you could get a parent advisory board to analyze data for all of your events. One of the things I like to say also, I know for the district level, the parent meetings or like when you review and analyze all like your policies and stuff, they have a what is that group called? No, not the focus group. That reviews like the dip and sip. Site-based committee. Yes. They have like their site-based committee and they have one or two parents in their site-based. That's fine. At a campus level, if you create your parent advisory committee group, you need to remember that it needs to be over 50% of parents that are in that committee or group that you organize. So it can't be 10 teachers, the counselor, the parent aide, and like two parents. The group has to be over 50% of parents within that group. Then we create SMART goals for the program, events, and documents. Be sure to keep documentation of meetings, sign-in sheets, flyers, email agenda, meeting minutes, etc. Here are some a sample of the questions that another district had, and they do a Google survey, and it's in English and Spanish. And you can see on the screen where it has like which of the following will help you participate more in parent meetings, family, and it has like the barriers listed. How many times do you want to go to the school, come up to the school and do parent events? You know, you want to know those type of questions as well. How can we improve actively involving parents in school activities? What kind of trainings do you want? How do LEAs document the annual evaluation of the PFE policy? So here, when you have your evaluation, and don't forget, you have to have your agenda minutes, sign-in sheet, survey responses, your focus groups, if you have a focus group, and the focus group responses. You have I think this is one that people tend to forget because you always have your sign-in sheets and meeting agendas for your annual Title I meeting and your building capacity trainings that you're having and things like that. But when you look at the evaluation piece and evaluating your PFE program, that documentation isn't there. Like they don't have, school districts don't have the flyer inviting families to review the PFE policy, or they don't have the sign-in sheets and or the minutes or the responses from parents that they got. So making sure that this is something really important to keep at a campus level. Questions. And I hope you could still do this. You're still in time because you're getting right now, again, you should be in the process of where you're getting that feedback from parents. And if you didn't have a flyer, creating a flyer, inviting parents for their feedback. Now, today. Okay, questions. Do you have any in the chat? Okay. So you're understanding, you're part of the matrix, okay? So in the movie, for those of y'all have seen the movie, there's a glitch in the system. And so, or deja vu, or Keanu Reeves says, sees a cat. It's like, there's something wrong within the system, right? If he sees the cat twice or something like that. Something's weird. And so there's, we're gonna do, can you spot the glitch? So which one is the glitch in the policy? Parents review the PFE policy annually, or B, parents review the PFE policy every 3 years. So in the chat, put A or B. Which one's the glitch? The weird one. Yes, B is the glitch. Okay. Which one is the glitch? The weird one in the policy. parents meeting offered morning and evening, or B, parent meeting offered at 10 a.m.? A or B is the weird one. Seems odd here. Yes. You aren't going to be taken away by the agents. Okay. Which one is a glitch in the policy? A, evidence documentation kept. B, we remembered it happened. Remember what time it happened. Which one's the glitch, Tamara? A or B? A. Tamara said first A. She would be taken away by the agents. She hasn't seen the movie The Matrix, but you would be taken away. They would take you away, Tamara.
I just got confused. A is the right one.
But in The Matrix, you can't get confused. Okay, this one's the last one. Which one is the glitch in the policy? A, PFE policy written in legal jargon, or B, policy written in a family-friendly language? What's the glitch? Yeah. Yes. A, um, a PFE policy written in legal jargon. As parents too, we don't want to read SU statute 1, B, C, um, whatever. I don't want to read all of that. Make it in a family-friendly language. And earlier we shared, maybe I want to see pictures of um, people that work at the school, events that happened in the past. Maybe put pictures of the events that happened in your school in the past. So families are like, oh, that was like fun. I want to attend. Okay, so it is about to be here at 10:30. Um, and we've kind of gone over all the policy requirements and evaluation piece. And the session is really till 12 o'clock. And so I'm going to give you extra time here just to, on your own, go in, get your PFE policy, see what requirements that you do have and what pieces are missing within your own policy. And so that you can update and do all of that. So I'm going to give you free time to do that. But before we go, here are some upcoming PFE events that are coming up. And again, remember, you're not alone in this. There's trainings that you can send your staff, you can send yourself to, or anything. There's an online cluster meeting. It is from not March 3rd is the next one from 9 to 4. I don't know if y'all attended the last one. I attended the last one, and it is with districts from across the state. But you get on, there's a lot of break room activities that you get to do and collaborations that you get to do, and you get just to hear what other school districts are doing. It was a great training. Then Region 16 has best practices virtual expos, and these are the winners of which I'll share with y'all. This is the Anita Villarreal Engagement Award, which you could nominate your school. It's May 1st is the application for it. But if you're like, I don't know if my school, I don't know if we should nominate our school. You are probably doing a lot of amazing things. And if you want to see more or hear more, these best practices virtual expos, they're the winners from those awards. And so, let me see. I thought I had, okay, let me see if I can get on here. There's a QR code to get into SEEP. I want to also show you because the last one, and I really like this, especially because in Region 15 we have a lot of rural districts, and so it's like, oh, what are we doing? Groover ISD, and you can see what each school district has been doing with parent and families at their district. And so what they did is they have a lot of land donated to them. Like Region 15, we have a lot of land. And what they did was they started to plant and harvest corn. And so all that, everything they earned from the corn that they harvested and sold went into a scholarship fund for their students, their seniors. And so when the seniors left, and I want to say they each got like 5,000 or I forgot how much it was. Let me see, nearly 1.5 million in scholarships. Anywho, they gave them to each of their students, but they get parents and families to also work the field. That they take turns. They get the students to help. They have this whole thing going on. Then the kids leave with a good chunk of money to this college, and I just thought, man, that's pretty cool to be able to do that. But again, they had a lot of land donated to them. They have San Antonio ISD had Family Hour, um, where they just talk about different things that are happening within, and they can have different people within their school come and talk to parents and families. One that I really like to Magical Mondays with families. Um, they have teachers, community partners, and they offer sessions to parents about how they can support their children at home. Um, anyway, you could go on here and look and see and then think, oh, what is my school doing? Could I also nominate our school for the Anita Villarreal award? Title I Part A Compliance Academy is coming up. It is in 2 weeks, I believe now, and it is going to be in Austin. Um, Again, there's that QR code because we are presenting the PFE policies. They're not going to get this matrix one like you guys did, but so they're missing out on the matrix one. But we're going to do a Family Feud one with them. And if you could go in now, TEA has they have a survey out, and that they're making sure that we are also providing the training that's required for us to give out to our districts. So if you go on this QR code and just go in, select your role, ESC 15, select our region, and that you attended this training. And so it's going to also let them know that the districts are attending the trainings that we are providing to you guys, that it's a requirement for us. And a requirement for y'all to attend as well. So, and then rate it. Rate today's session. And oh, did you put the link on the Tammy also put the link that you could click on into the chat. And so thank y'all. And again, we are here to serve you guys. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, we're always here to support you guys. So give us a call or email and we're here for you. And did you see I added ChatGPT to make us into Matrix characters. And I told Mercedes, oh, you look like Trinity, which Trinity is the girl who but and is the best one in my but she's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, they need to watch it. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. And remember, this is in the next hour. I'll give y'all so y'all can review y'all's PFE policies. Contact me if y'all have any questions regarding them. All right, well, I'll let y'all go. I'm going to now stop